a quiet community, a charming young man, and a series of horrifying crimes that would remain unsolved for over 4 decades. How could a man described as kind and intelligent be responsible for a reign of terror that earned him the chilling moniker, the American Jack the Ripper? This is the story of William Dean Christensen and the dark secrets he kept hidden in plain sight. The year is 1978. In the heart of Southern California, a sense of unease begins to creep into the community. It starts with the tragic discovery of a young woman named Robin Sarah. Her body is found in a desolate canyon, the victim of a brutal attack. The police are baffled, with few leads and no suspects. This case would mark the beginning of a pattern, a dark signature left by an unknown predator. Over the next few months, more victims would surface. Each one, a young woman, their lives cut short in a similarly violent manner. The community is gripped by fear. Who was this phantom attacker? He seemed to strike at random, leaving a trail of sorrow and unanswered questions. The media, drawing parallels to the infamous London killer from a century before, began calling him the American Jack the Ripper. The name stuck, adding a layer of historical terror to the modern-day nightmare. The investigation was one of the largest in the region's history, but it repeatedly hit dead ends. The killer was like a ghost, leaving behind minimal forensic evidence. Detectives interviewed hundreds of people, chased down countless leads, but the case grew colder with each passing year. For the families of the victims, the pain was immense. A wound that refused to heal as long as the person responsible remained free. The years turned into decades. The files gathered dust, but for the investigators and the families, the memories remained as vivid as ever. Meanwhile, a man named William Dean Christensen was living a seemingly ordinary life. He was a veteran, a former city surveyor, a man people in his community knew and liked. He was intelligent, articulate, and by all accounts, completely normal. No one could have suspected the darkness that lurked beneath his friendly exterior. He moved on, built a life, and the terrible secrets of his past were buried deep. But science never stops advancing. In the early 2000s, a revolution in forensic science was underway. DNA profiling. Cold case detectives, armed with this powerful new tool, began to revisit old, unsolved crimes. The American Jack the Ripper case was a prime candidate. Evidence that had been carefully preserved for decades was re-examined. From a small biological sample left at one of the crime scenes, investigators were able to extract a DNA profile of the killer. The profile was run through the National DNA Database, CODIS, but there was no match. The ghost was still a ghost. The frustration was immense. They had the killer's genetic fingerprint, but no name to attach to it. It seemed the case was destined to remain cold. However, the story doesn't end there. Another technological leap was on the horizon: genetic genealogy. This new technique allowed investigators to upload a killer's DNA profile to public genealogy websites, like the ones people use to trace their family trees. The goal wasn't to find the killer himself, but to find his relatives. By building a family tree based on distant cousins who had voluntarily shared their DNA, investigators could meticulously narrow down the list of potential suspects. In 2019, a team of dedicated cold case investigators and genealogists took on the case. They uploaded the DNA profile and got a HITA, distant relative. From there, it was a painstaking process of genealogical research, digging through public records, birth certificates, and census data. They built out a massive family tree, slowly but surely closing in on their target. The branches of the family tree eventually led them to one name: William Dean Christensen. Could this man, now in his 70s and living a quiet life, be the brutal killer who had terrorized a community 40 years earlier? The investigators needed to be sure. They began surveillance on Christensen. In a moment that feels like something out of a movie, they managed to obtain a DNA sample from a discarded item. They rushed it to the lab. The results came back. It was a perfect match. The DNA from the trash can was a match to the DNA found at the crime scene all those years ago. After 41 long years, the ghost finally had a name. The American Jack the Ripper was William Dean Christensen. In 2019, authorities moved in to arrest the elderly man. The news sent shockwaves through the community where he lived. Neighbors and acquaintances were in disbelief. How could the man they knew, the friendly veteran, be capable of such horrific acts. It's a chilling reminder that monsters don't always look like monsters. They can be our neighbors, our colleagues, the people we see every day. Christensen was charged with the murder of Robin Sierra. As investigators dug deeper into his past, they began to link him to other unsolved cases from the same time period. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Faced with the irrefutable power of DNA, the man who had hidden his secrets for 4 decades finally confessed. He admitted to his crimes, bringing a long overdue sense of closure to the families who had waited so long for answers. Sadly, William Dean Christensen would not face a full trial. Shortly after his confession, he passed away in custody. While some may feel that justice was not fully served in a courtroom, his confession and the definitive DNA evidence finally brought the truth to light. The case was officially closed. The story of William Dean Christensen is a powerful testament to the relentless pursuit of justice and the incredible evolution of forensic science. It shows that no matter how much time has passed, there is always hope for answers. For the detectives who never gave up, for the scientists who developed these groundbreaking techniques, and most importantly, for the families of the victims. The resolution of this case proves that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, can eventually be unearthed. It tells a somber but important story about a community's enduring strength and the idea that no victim is ever truly forgotten. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into fascinating cases like this one. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.